What's up, guys? It's Austin from Yugioh Theory. Today I'm coming at you guys with my Metaphys deck profile. This deck I've been trying to make for a little while, and try to get it out for a deck profile for you guys. And so here it is. This deck is pretty good. It's pretty consistent. It has a lot of like really strong, powerful monsters, but you can have some trouble getting them out on the field if you don't have the right things in your hand. So it can be a little slow sometimes, but for the most part it's a really good deck. It's mainly a banishing type of deck, and it's really cheap, so if you want to pick it up, it's a really good option just to have some fun with your friends and maybe even take it to some tournaments and win some stuff, because it does have some viability in like a not like super competitive scene, but like at locals or something like that. You could probably win some, and you'd probably catch a lot of people off guard. So let's just get right into the deck profile, because I'm pretty excited about this actually. First you run 3 Metaphys Ragnarok. What Ragnarok does is you normal summon him, you banish the top 3 cards off your deck. If you banish a Metaphys monster, he gains 300 attack for each, or Metaphys card, I mean. So you can get him up to 2400, so you can attack over some stuff with that. 2400 is pretty good for a level 4 monster. And if you attack and deal damage to your opponent with it, you can special summon any Metaphys monster from your deck. And a lot of them have a lot of good effects when they get special summon, like banishing all monsters on the field, or all special summon monsters, banishing all face down spells and traps. Just a bunch of crazy things that can help you out a lot. And he's a tuner, which is weird, so I don't know what you could like summon with him since he's a tuner, but he is a tuner, so that kind of works out. You can mix it with some stuff and get out some synchros, but yeah, I thought that was kind of weird that they made him a tuner. Next, you run 3 Metaphys Nephthys. What this card does is whenever it's special summon off a Metaphys effect, it banishes all face down spells and traps, and then the turn, I think at the end of the turn after he is summoned this way, he gets banished, and the standby phase after he's banished, you can shuffle him back into the deck and then add any Metaphys card from your deck to your hand except for him. So he's really good for, just searching, obviously, and he's also really good for getting rid of spells and traps, which is mainly why I run him at 3, and searching. So next you run 3 Metaphys Deadliest, something like that. It's something like that. But anyway, whenever it's special summon, you banish all special summon monsters on the field, except for him. So and he is also banished the turn at the end of the turn after he is special summoned this way. He is banished. So they all do that except for Ragnarok. So I'm just not going to repeat that part anymore. And then when this one is the standby phase after this card is banished, you shuffle it into the deck and then you replace it with a different Metaphys monster. And next I run 2 Tyrant Dragon. Metaphys Tyrant Dragon is a really good card. It's the highest attack. I could bump this up to 3 and maybe run trade-in, but I don't know, because if you draw a trade-in and you don't have any of these monsters, it kind of sucks, because you only have 6 level 8s, and I don't think that's really enough to play trade-in. I might change my mind, maybe, I don't know, I've been thinking about it. But anyway, when he's special summoned, he's immune to trap cards, and if you attack a monster and destroy it, you can attack again. So that leaves you open with being able to attack directly with 2900. And if you attack with Ragnarok and special summon him out, and say they only had 1 monster and you destroyed it with Ragnarok, that's just direct for 2900. So it's really good. Next you run, 2 Necrophase. Necrophase, you banish it, and then you banish, like it has to get banished for this effect to go off. And then you banish the top 5 cards of both players' decks. So this could be really oppressive for your opponent, but it works out for you very well. And then you can normal summon it to shuffle all your banished monsters back into your deck. So say you, most of the time you want to target this with Gold Sark. So say you get it back with Gold Sark, and you have a bunch of cards you don't really want to be banished. Like you want the Metaphys monsters to be banished, but say you already shuffled them back, and your banished pile is a bunch of stuff you don't really want to be banished, and you already got your Necrophase back, so you just normal summon this to shuffle it all back, and you gain all your cards. Because running out of cards in this deck can be a problem because of how fast you banish cards, but Necrophase kind of fixes that. And it also kind of adds to that problem because Necrophase is usually the one you're using to banish, but it usually recovers itself, so it works out fine. Next, you run 2 Eater of Millions. Eater of Millions is a really good card. What you do is you banish at least 5 cards from your extra deck, hand, or field. That's why you run an extra deck with nothing in it, really. Just it doesn't matter what's in the extra deck as long as it's 15 cards. What you want to do is you want to banish 10 the first time you use this, and leave 5 for the other one, so you can at least summon it later if you need to. Also, if you do the 5 thing or the 10 when Soul Absorption's on the field, it's basically you automatically get 5,000 life points. Same thing with Necrophase. If Soul Absorption's on the field and you activate the effect where you banish the top 5 cards of both decks, that's 10 cards combined, so you gain 5,000 life points instantly. So you can get up very high life points very quickly. Last, for monsters, you run 1 Max C. Max C is basically, you drop it first. They either skip their turn, basically, or give you a ton of advantage. But yeah, that's it for monsters. Now for spells. We run 3 as Metaphys. What this does is once per turn, you can banish 1 Metaphys card from your hand, and then you draw a card. And depending on whose turn it is that a Metaphys card gets banished, you can activate one of these effects. If it's your turn, all monsters on the field lose 500 attack and defense except for Metaphys monsters. And if it's your opponent's turn, you change the battle positions of all monsters on the field except Metaphys monsters. I'm sorry, I'm over here burping. So this could help with your Ragnarok doing damage if you end up banishing one to draw a card, and then you use this to everything loses 500, and then Ragnarok might be up to like 1800, let's say. So you can just basically get over that, and then special summon another one to deal more damage. Next, you run Metaphys Factor. This card's really good. You don't run Terraforming because Metaphys Factor isn't really like crucial to you playing Metaphys, but 3 of it is good just because it has a really good effect. But each turn, you can just normal summon a level 5 or higher Metaphys from your monster without tributing, or from your hand without tributing, so it works out really good trying to get some of them out. Sadly, with this, their effects don't go off because they're not technically being special summoned, they're being normal summoned. But you have to banish it during the next end phase, which works out with all of them, so you will still be able to get its effects off when it gets banished. And your opponent cannot activate card effects in response to Metaphys effects. So they can't activate to anything, they can't activate to Ragnarok's effect, anything. Like, say you summon the one that banishes all face-down spells and traps. When this is on the field, they can't activate any of those spells and traps into response. So they get all banished, and they can't activate anything off of it to get any kind of advantage at all. And it's really good. Next, you run 3 Gold Sark, just to banish what you need for your combos, and also to banish Necrophase. This is the easiest way to banish Necrophase. So Gold Sark is the definite 3 of in this deck. Next is 3 Soul Absorption. What happened was, with why I'm using proxies right now, is when I ordered Soul Absorption, apparently they ran out of stock while they were in my cart, and they put it in the save for later, and I didn't know that. So when I ordered them, it didn't put these in my cart, so they didn't get ordered technically. So I have to reorder them sometime. But for now, I'm going to be using proxies, because when I'm doing it with my friends, they don't really mind, because some of them use proxies too. So we just have like a system set up to where we can just use proxies. So it's all good for now. But anyway, this card's amazing. You gain 500 life points whenever a card gets banished at all, your opponent included. Not them getting 500 life points, but if they banish a card, you get 500 life points. I've used this card to where I've gotten up to 20,000 life points before, and it's ridiculous. Next, you run 2 Pot of Desires. I'm probably going to run 3 of these, but I just don't have 3. But if you use Pot of Desires and Soul Absorptions on the field, that's automatic 5,000 life points. So it kind of helps out with the fact that you're losing 10 cards. But Necrophase lets you shuffle them back anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. And the good thing about Soul Absorption is if you shuffle back all your banished cards, you don't lose life points, because it's just when they're banished, not how many you have in your banished pile, which works out great. So there's pretty much no ceiling to how much life points you can gain. Next, I run 2 Forbidden Chalice. I side this out depending on what I'm dueling, but it is a really good card now, just because a lot of things need their effects to activate, obviously. So Forbidden Chalice is just a really good card to stop that. I run one Dark Hole just because you like to go second in this deck, and Dark Hole helps clear out the field just so you can get an easy attack with your Ragnarok, which helps you get more advantage off of your monsters too. I run one D-Fissure. If you have D-Fissure up, it is really oppressive for your opponent, and it actually helps you out, so D-Fissure is good in this deck, definitely. That's it for spells. So now to traps. Have a pretty heavy spell lineup. Not very many traps though, just because I don't like this deck being very slow. Even with Waterfall of the Dragon Souls, I don't even run a single copy of it just because it's a little slow for me. But I probably would run a copy of it if I decided to run this deck at 45 cards. But I honestly don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I've put in some thought into it, but I do not know at this point. I run 2 Metaphys Dimension. Metaphys Dimension is incredible. I only run 2 of it just because it's a little slow, but if your opponent special summons a monster except during the damage step, you can special summon one of your banished Metaphys monsters. So you can special summon, say if you have this and you special summon the one that banishes all special summon monsters on the field except for it. So it's basically like negating the summon, sort of, and it gets banished. So that's really good. And also, if one of your Metaphys monsters would get banished, you can banish one of your opponent's cards. So the card you special summon off of this, when it gets banished during the next end phase, you banish one of your opponent's cards along with it. So this card can be very oppressive if they don't have an answer to it. I run next just the Solemn Brigade, 2 strikes and 1 warning, just to stop all sorts of effects and things from going off. And then 1 Macros Cosmos along with the D-Fissure. Honestly, if D-Fissure was 2 and Macrocosmos was banned, it wouldn't bother me at all, because honestly I like D-Fissure better because it's a spell. But Macrocosmos is good to drop on people unexpectedly if they're not ready for it. Yeah, that's it with the main deck. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And don't forget, we're having a giveaway on the channel for this Ghost Ogre. So if you're interested in getting a Ghost Ogre, go over to the video for the giveaway. Like that video, subscribe, and comment below done, and you'll automatically be entered to win this Ghost Ogre. I'll be giving it away whenever I get 200 subscribers, so be looking forward to that. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.